Okay, guys, so we are back with day 3, and I still have a Brittany here with me. And so today's topic, we're just gonna get right into it because at this point we just go over the time, and if we just waste time in just like, you know, doing the intros and all of that, we just waste time basically. So today we'll be doing body shaming, and then we'll be doing a part 2 tomorrow of body shaming, which is plastic surgery, but we'll kind of still also be talking about it in this podcast as well. So basically, let's start. Okay, so body shaming, in as it's self-explanatory, is where you shame a certain body part of someone. So, for example, let's say you're a group of friends and all of you look a certain way, but then there's this one friend who might have, I don't know, blonde hair, for example. Everybody else is a black head or a brunette head, whatever the case may be, and this one friend has blonde hair. And each of you constantly on a daily basis are always criticizing her on her blonde hair, always forcing her to maybe go and, get her hair dyed, or whatever the case may be, knowing fully well that it might not be, perfect or ideal in terms of hair health or whatever the case may be. So basically, it's pressure, it's bullying, it's constant criticizing and making inappropriate jokes against a certain body part of another individual. But this is just like a basic explanation of what, body shaming is. So we're gonna bring it into the K-pop industry, of course, because it's one of the topics that have been brought up within online communities around the world about K-pop, and it's a problematic issue that I think that we need to address. So I'm gonna hand it over to Brittany to just get us started.
Um, okay, so basically, when I hear the word body shaming, like you mentioned, it's because obviously the certain standard that K-pop has. Once again, everybody needs to be maybe tall and really skinny, and that's just the criteria though
So
that
in
they
terms
have.
of that, I will just want to stop you there for a second. Do you think that it stems from K-pop culture, or do you think that it stems from Korean culture, which is then was adopted into K-pop culture?
I think definitely I think that it's a huge part of Korean culture to be skinny. Like
But
that's just the
how
thing.
did it originate? How did K-pop? I mean, sorry. How did Koreans get to the point where they were saying, "No, man, you need to be at least 6 feet tall as a man. No, you need to be pale. No, you need to wear a certain weight." Where do you think that stemmed from specifically? Because you can't just wake up one day and be like, "Hey, you need to be pale."
I think what the pale thing it stems from years ago in Asia, just in general,
Yeah.
from what I know and what I've read, that if you were light skinned, um, you lived a wealthy life and you were much more richer. Whereas if you're darker skinned,
Or tanned, I
or
guess.
tanned,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, you worked out in the field and you were poor.
Yeah.
So I think it stems from that. And one of this YouTuber was saying, when she was doing makeup, she just mentioned that like um, we've been idolizing pale skin for thousands of years, and so that culture just adapted into Korea, probably at the
Very early age.
very early.
In their culture, yeah.
And then with the being tall thing, Koreans are generally taller than most
Asians.
Asians, and I think that for me, I can't really I can't say that like with the tall thing. I think maybe it could have also been like because white people are generally taller, and it could have been from that, because let's be honest, white people are idolized in South Korea.
Yeah, yeah.
So it could have been that as well. So that's why men, they might have like had that as well. Like men need to be 6 feet and up, or at least a good height. To be considered
Ideal or
ideal
perfect.
or
Yeah.
perfect.
I also heard that it's also got to do with them trying to distance themselves from being compared to or equated to Japanese culture, or people from Japan and China and all these other Asian countries. So they needed to find a way to now to get themselves to be distinguished. I also heard I was interviewing someone, I think back in 2017, and she told me that this whole weight issue stemmed back from Korea when they were during the war, when people you didn't have enough food to eat, and so obviously now people were a certain weight, and it obviously carried on throughout the years and all that, and so it was kind of, I guess, expected for you to weigh a certain weight until it was normalized, basically. So now if you weigh beyond a certain weight, then you're considered unattractive, or you're considered not necessarily Korean, which is weird because I mean it's literally stems from a war.
Yeah.
Of not of lacking food, of lacking food security, but now it's now associated with beauty. So yeah, like it's just quite, I don't know, it's just quite a complex and interesting topic.
Yeah.
So the reason why we're starting off with this, and I'm sure of course is that a lot of these has been dragged out of Korean culture and has been blasted into K-pop.
Yeah.
And it goes now into criteria for now who gets to be in K-pop and who gets to not be in K-pop. And remember, on day one, we said that K-pop has a certain look. And if you don't fit into it, then sorry,
yeah,
you're not allowed, because it's no longer K-pop. So now, with that being said, basically K-pop is saying you need to be tall if you're a guy, you need to be thin, you need to be pale. These issues are very problematic because some Asians in general are not naturally like that. So basically now you're forcing these people to.
Yeah.
So even though it's a criteria, do you think it's a good criteria, or do you think that it's highly, highly negative and it needs to be relooked? Because I mean, remember, this is K-pop we're talking about. This is what describes K-pop. Do you think, because if you're now gonna critique the criteria itself, then you're critiquing K-pop in general, and if those criteria needs to fall, then K-pop in general will need to fall, and the whole music industry will need to be shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think there's a line. Personally, I think that for K-pop, like, that's their criteria, and so if you want to be a K-pop artist, and you have to be open to the fact that they're going to change your skin tone, you're going to go for skin lightening, you are going to have your hair dyed, you are going to be on the strictest diet. If they tell you this much of a kilo overweight, you must expect it, and this is by your own personal choice to go into K-pop.
Yeah.
That's you yourself. You are open. You can't be there complaining now. I didn't sign up for this. Exactly. That's your own thing. And so, yes, definitely K-pop will fall if we start seeing a lot of overweight people, and like people that that are considered like not, that are not fitting the criteria of K-pop. Like K-pop will start to fall because people that watch K-pop are usually they there to see the people like, oh, the thin, and like, they look beautiful, and like
porcelain
the thin skin and
silky long hair.
Exactly. And so that's why, like, I think, like you said, K-pop will fall. Personally, I don't agree with the negativity of it, but like for K-pop, like, this is what it is.
This is normal day. This is day-to-day situation.
Yeah.
Get like accept it or get out, basically. But you can't even get out, actually, because they'll sue you.
So you will go on that diet whether or not.
Yeah. So you don't control your own money.
Exactly.
So now you can't say, I'm gonna eat KFC today. Like, you're gonna eat a sweet potato and a glass of water, and that's it.
So I feel like this is what it is. This is K-pop. This is as harsh as it may sound. People watch these things because these people are considered idols, and so being thin has been something not even just in Asia, but I feel like even in America as well. Like being thin is just people body shame people all the time.
Yeah, in South Africa as
Even
well.
in South Africa as well. And so being thin has just been something that people want. When they look at the TV, they don't want to see somebody that is considered socially unattractive. So when they watch these videos, they're expecting to see somebody that looks a certain way, somebody
Right.
that is considered beautiful. This is what K-pop is. And if we are going to sit here and criticize and be like, oh, okay, now let's get some overweight people in K-pop. Like people are gonna be like, but now then I might as well watch something else because now I didn't sign up for
Right.
this. I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't
Right.
want it. So like I said, K-pop is, there's a criteria, and if you don't like it, then don't watch it.
Right.
Simple as that. Like that's the criteria, and who are we to tell them?
So
like,
yeah,
change.
with that being said, so basically what you're trying to say is these people that have been complaining about no, K-pop is just being unjust to its idols. So you are basically saying that they need to keep quiet because this is the criteria. This is what is needed for you to be a K-pop idol. So they must keep quiet.
Yeah.
Even though it goes against what they believe in. It's not part it's a part of the K-pop rules. It's the reason why they're even watching
Yes.
K-pop to begin with. So you're saying that we shouldn't be having this discussions of, oh no, this is wrong. Because it's not your culture, it's not your business, basically. You're
Yeah.
just here to watch.
Why? My thing is this, like I get some of the times they looking at the artist and be like, oh, but now why is the artist so skinny?
You're right.
Why is the artist there in the first place? They knew when they signed up for this is what it's gonna be,
You're
this
not
is
gonna
what it's
sleep
gonna
for only
take.
1 hour a day,
Exactly.
2 hours a day, or
This
don't
is-
even sleep at all.
Exactly, this is what K-pop is. We work you like there's no tomorrow.
It's
this
about
is what
making
it
money.
is. It's
It's
about
about the
making
human
money.
body.
Yes. And so like yes, I understand your bias, Rika. You're like, oh, I'm so worried about that person. And yes, like to a certain extent, like I can understand you completely.
And it's
And
in,
like, I
and
can-
it's wrong, basically.
Yeah.
It's violating basic human rights according to Western ideals
Yeah.
of what human rights are. But it is what it is.
Exactly. And so why are they there though? Like I understand like this is what K-pop is. And like brutally speaking, like if the company started actually saying to the artist, no, okay, you can go out, go eat your KFC, do this, do that, like people will start getting becoming overweight, and for them it's all about money. Like I might not agree with, personally I don't agree with treating the artist unfairly and stuff like that.
Right.
But like I can understand, like this is what K-pop is, this is the culture, this is what they want, this is what's selling, and that's how it, just like sex sells in America.
Right.
This is what we want the ones with the hour shaped glass.
Right.
We must wear no clothes, whatever the case may be. Same thing with K-pop. Like we might look at Cardi B or Nicki Minaj or whatever and be like, oh my word, I feel so sorry that they're objectifying her. But like she's there for the money, just like these artists are there for the money. And I think it stems from Korean culture as well. They just put so much pressure on themselves as well, like to lose weight. Like I remember in I think it was in Run where German like gained like honestly I wouldn't even be able to tell that he gained weight on his thighs, and like the all of the members were like, yo, you gained weight and all of that. But like it would be so like somebody like from South Africa, or I think even in other Western countries, wouldn't even be able to notice that he gained weight. But because they are so, I feel like that's their culture, like weight and like looking perfect is their culture, that it's something that is so observant to them that it wouldn't even like matter if that person gained weight, like a little bit of weight, and we're like, oh, like we don't even notice
Right.
that you gained weight. But because they're so observant and this is their culture,
Yeah.
that is why I feel like it just stems from the Korean and then it blasted up into
Right.
K-pop.
So, going back to podcast one, we said that K-pop is now representing a new culture or trying to represent Asians. So, do you think that K-pop does a good job in actually representing Asian culture? Because if is Asian culture really about violating people's basic human rights, starving people every day to look a certain way? Does it fully represent what Asian culture is about? Does it fully bridge that gap or fill that space that the entertainment industry has been lacking in terms of representing Asians?
I think for me personally, if I like without being a fan of K-pop and I just watched maybe a K-pop video and I had no clue of K-pop and like I saw all these people looking a certain way and all of that, and I would think to myself like, oh my word, like I wouldn't want to go to that country if I knew that this is how they are, like they'll point out that you gained weight. I wouldn't like it for me, like it would definitely personally I feel like it would create a negative stereotype on how Asian people are. And obviously it's not everybody that is like that. Like we can't just put that put that whole everybody in one category and be like, oh, all Asians are like that. But definitely it does create like a negative impact on how we see Asian people, which is sad though because you know
And also another thing is that some Asians do actually experience this at home
yeah.
in their households. They are pressured to be light skinned. They are pressured to be thin. They are pressured to be a certain way. So it may not necessarily 100% fully represent Asians, but it kind of gives a small snippet into their culture and what happens in their
Yeah,
households. Yeah.
which is it's a lot for a young person to be
Right.
pressured.
Especially if you live it, if you've experienced it your whole entire life.
Yeah, for you to live in Korea and your family is like, no, you need to go get plastic surgery because your eyes aren't wide enough. And it's so sad though, like that is part of the everyday life, or
Right.
even you could say it's part of the culture for the parents to say that no, but you're not perfect, we can fix you, and like with plastic surgery. And it's sad that they're being body shamed at such a young age, and that's why the suicide rate is so high in the
Korea.
country, because it's too much. It's
Right.
really too much, and it's sad for me as an outsider. It's so sad that people are being body shamed at such a young age to look a certain way, and like for me it just takes away from what it means to be Asian. Like I can't say for sure, but like if there's a certain trademark in certain Asian people's races, why are you changing that? But then again, I can't say because I'm not Asian. Um, Part of the stems from the fact that they clearly in their culture they want to be perfect, want to look a certain way. Everybody must look a certain way, and it's so weird. I was one of the news articles came up, and people were saying that the Miss Universe of South Korea,
Yeah.
the Miss Korea or something,
Korea. Yeah.
everybody looked the same because everybody had this oval round faces, and the eyes and the everything with like plastic surgery
Yeah, it was the same. But
was
everybody looked the same.
exactly looked the same because the country is homogeneous. Everybody strives to look a certain way, everybody strives to lead a certain life, which is so, I mean, as a South African, it just doesn't like uh, doesn't feel right as South African
Yeah.
hearing this. But like then again, I'm not South Korean. I can't come and like be like, no,
Hey,
you
stop
wrong,
it.
you
It's
that.
wrong.
That's your thing. That's although I don't agree with it personally, they might also not agree with what how my parents raised me. Then again, or my culture, they might not agree with my culture and my parents telling you free to be or do whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
because that's how they were raised. And so who am I to say that like the parents body shaming their children is wrong? I don't know what their culture is.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, do you think K-pop then should be just kept? Because if we keep it, then we're also keeping all these things that we find problematic, even though we don't have a right to say anything or comment about it. So now, do you think that we should keep K-pop and keep quiet and just look from a distance, enjoy the music, even though there's like these problematic things happening in between? Yeah, we're dancing to Blackpink, let's kill this love, while we are seeing Jenny suffering in the background and all of that thing, or all of that. Or should we just like, you know what, forget that, scrap the whole thing? I'll sacrifice me not having to listen to K-pop anymore, me not having to go to the concert, me not having to partake in those sumpy questionnaires. Who's your ideal type? Who's your future husband in XO and stuff like that? Like what then?
I think it depends on the individual. It really
Yeah.
depends. Like you can't be watching K-pop and like I think there's a line also, like you can't be watching K-pop and like um singing all these different songs and being a part of K-pop and all of that type of thing, and then later you wanna go online and be like, hey,
How
but
dare
why
J-Hope do
this
how
blah,
dare
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, because you knew exactly this is how K-pop
As
is.
much as the idol knew what he or her was getting themselves into, you yourself now know.
So you can't sit there and be supporting K-pop and then like it's either you support or you don't support.
Right.
Like,
And if
it
you
sounds
support,
bad.
it means that you're agreeing with what is
Yes,
happening
with
there.
what is happening there. Um, you want to enjoy their music, yes, you do. But now I can get like where fans or like some fans are getting angry and be like, no, the Jenny is busy dying in the background and all of that because she's exhausted and all of that. But then again, this is what K-pop is.
Yeah.
This is what it is. So now you would have a problem if she was dancing slow, which obviously came up in one of the videos that
Apparently she
YG,
was being lazy, even though we knew it was because
she
of
was
the effects of
exhausted.
being in K-pop. Yeah.
Exactly, and people were commenting, why Jenny so lazy, what's this, blah. So now what's
You're
happening
contradicting
there?
yourself. You're being a hypocrite.
Exactly my point. And also with that being said, like this is, like I said, this is what K-pop is. People overwork.
And the fact that you're even listening to this podcast means that you're a K-pop fan.
Yeah.
And means you're aware of these things. And the fact that we're engaging in these topics means that we are participating in K-pop and we're indirectly supporting all these things that we are saying is problematic. So all of us are stuck in this web, basically. It's either you in or you out, basically. And if you're in, you have unfortunately to accept all these things that's happening in K-pop.
You know, coming
As
back,
bad as it is, yeah.
coming back to the body shaming topic, it just reminded me of Jae Young. I don't think I'm pronouncing her
From
name
which
right.
group is this?
Twice.
Okay.
So she's a bit like, she was a bit chubbier and all of that.
Well, she's not chubby, but
I mean,
she was
according to
thick compared to maybe the other people in the
Korean standards.
Yeah.
And they were like the artists.
Just
the
to like give an
manager-
example, a clear example. In Korea, for example, if you're 60 kg, you're considered fat,
Yeah.
basically. To us, 60 kg is like average size.
But also, I think it depends on your height as well.
Yeah.
I think as a maybe a 5'8" female, it would be fine, because then you're actually extremely skinny for But if you like in like where the K-pop women are usually like between 5'2" to maybe 5'6", 5'7", then it would be fine. And a lot of the times also, K-pop contributes to the normal woman in Korea wanting to lose weight, because these K-pop artists lie on their profiles
Yeah,
about
they
their
lie that
weights.
there's no tomorrow.
There's
Even their height, they lie about their
exactly
height.
their height, and because they want to create this ideal image about of how you're supposed to look,
Yeah.
which is so, you
It's
know,
bizarre to us, but it makes a whole lot of sense to them.
like to me it just didn't sound right when in one of the episodes of Real Men where Blackpink Lisa was on, one of the other artists, I'm not sure where she's, I think she's not an artist, I think she's an actress,
Yeah.
and she is about, I don't know what is her height, but like her height was 5'6", I think, and like her weight was 45 or 46 or something like that. And then when they
kg,
actually
yeah.
yes, when they actually took her real measurements, like she was 5'3", and her weight was 50 odd, so like extra 10 kilos more.
Right.
And so it was so shocking to see. And even Korean people, a lot of Korean people are aware of this, because I've heard on this popular show Asian Boss, where people actually like one of the YouTube channel said like, no, but those celebrities lie on their profiles,
Right.
so that maybe people from the outside will like don't know anything will be like, oh my word, like is this even what it takes to be a K-pop idol?
Right.
And like which is people actually never complained. Lisa from Blackpink and Rose from Blackpink are so skinny, and like I have no thing against people being skinny, people being fat, people being overweight, whatever the case may be. Like I have nothing against it, but like Lisa BMI according to American standards was 18 point something, and she was severely underweight.
Right.
And nobody ever like criticized her, because you would rather be too skinny than be too fat.
Yeah, right.
So, and that's what happened to Jae-young from Twice. Like the costume designer was saying, no, but you too
big
for
this costume.
Same with Joy from Red Velvet. Like she always had these costumes. As
soon
as
so different to the rest of the members.
Yes, and as soon as she lost the weight, people were like, oh, they were like just obsessed with her, and like she was emphasizing the belly button, and she was just this. She had this aura about her.
And even for her to get to that weight, she had to do some very questionable diets.
Exactly. And but I mean, like I said again, this is K-pop.
What do you expect?
What do you expect? Like people, this is what people want to see. This is what Korean people want to see.
This is what got you into K-pop in the beginning. You didn't know how she got to that weight. You didn't know how she got to look the way she looked. But that's what made you fall in love with K-pop to begin with.
I think to Korean people, like body shaming isn't seen as wrong. Like I can't say to a certain
to them it's not even body shaming. Yeah. It's like normal.
We care about you. We want you to lose weight.
So you fat, you need to lose weight.
Yes.
You ugly when you fat. We care about you, but you're ugly. So please lose weight.
So body shaming, like I said, like you said, it's to them it's not even body shaming. To them it's more like we care about
constructive criticism.
Exactly, basically. And this is the image that we're portraying. This is how Korea should look. And like
we didn't ask you to come to Korea, and we don't even want you to be part of the music industry if you're not Korean. So please don't complain. Like type of thing. That's basically what they're trying to say.
Type of thing. Yes. Yeah. And that's why there's so many plastic surgery places for people to do these things, skin lightening, everything that you can possibly, shaving your face to a V shape,
shaving your chin, your the bone. Ooh, okay. Is there any message you'd like to give to anyone who's listening and who knows all those dark side of K-pop, but still and that person is not even Asian, but still wants to go and audition? What would you say to that person listening right now? They are about to fill in the form, they are about to pay the money, and they are about to go to SM Entertainment or YG or JYP and audition. What would you say to that person right now?
I would say that it would probably be a bad idea for you to maybe if you're doing it like just for the experience, it will be fine.
Right.
Maybe you might actually be that one person that
does change their mind.
Does change their mind and go into K-pop and like debuted,
And as
but
I've seen with Alex,
it didn't go
you're
well
right.
though. It
Yeah.
didn't go well. And also be prepared for a lot of hardships and like a lot
Be
of
prepared for a lot of discrimination, a lot of
Exact-
judging.
a lot of judging as well, and also be prepared for plastic surgery. You could be Hispanic listening to this. You might go there, turn into Korean Hispanic,
You might end up being like the Brazilian guy when you do surgery to look
and
Asian and he look boshed after. Yay, you look like alien. I don't even know what's going on there.
exactly. And it's sad that people have to change themselves so much just to look a certain
Right.
way.
And
then
he's
again,
and he
that's
can't
their
even
own-
still he didn't even look like an Asian and still he didn't even get into K-pop.
And that's what I'm saying, exactly, like you changing yourself. Like then again, also it's your own choice.
Right.
What you do with yourself, it's your own choice. But like for me personally, I wouldn't put myself to that. I would enjoy K-pop as a K-pop fan, but I would not put myself in that. That's like I'm watching K-pop because this is what I want to see, this is how it is. But for myself personally and for other people that like that are not of Asian descent, like I don't think waste your time like
Right.
by going there, because it's gonna be taking away from what K-pop really is.
And it's good to dream, it's good to defy certain borders and certain definitions and certain what is it now? Critiques and standards.
Yeah,
But you also have to be realistic.
yeah.
K-pop
No,
is an
really.
exception. You can't go in there because if you go in there and you get accepted, you're now redefining what K-pop is. And as a matter of fact, you're changing it into something else. With that being said, there is a girl group called Z Girls. They consist of the girls from Asian countries. There are Indians, there are Indonesians, they are Vietnamese, Taiwanese, and all of that. So when they sing in English, actually, but they're based in Korea. So when they came out, they were like, well, we actually do Z-pop. Now you're like, what? Z-pop, singing English, but you are from a Korean entertainment company. And what I like about them is that the fact that they admitted, hey, we're not K-pop. Because they know they can't fit into look-wise. Yes, they can perfect the Korean. Yes, they can wear the same outfits. But in terms of appearance, there is no way that they can look like a Korean person. There is no way.
Yeah.
So at least they were brave enough to be like, hey, we are trying to break into the music industry in general, but we are creating Z-pop. Because we're also Generation Z as well. And because we are so diverse as well. And in that case, the Koreans weren't body shaming them.
Yeah.
So we can see that perhaps Korea doesn't body shame you if you accept your difference and you are not trying to invade their culture.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that honestly, like I personally, I don't really get the Z-pop thing. Like,
Why are they even based in Korea is my question.
Exactly, go to America and like I mean, like if you look at Fifth Harmony,
Yeah.
if you look at Destiny's Child, if you look at what's the other girl groups? There's various girl groups. Little Mix as well. Like you can go there. Like I
Right.
think they would have
They'll be
made
more
a huge-
open. Maybe
more
they'll be like, why are
impact.
you only Asian? But they'll be like, okay, cool, it's still fine because you guys are from different parts of Asia.
Yes.
Anyway. Yeah.
So for me, I feel like that would have like worked better. But now, obviously, money wise, like Korea was like yes, like
Yeah.
I think that because now a lot of fans of K-pop are from different countries in Asia. Obviously, I would say the minority would be in other countries, Western countries. The majority of fans are from Thailand, Malaysia,
Southeast
Korea,
Asian
yes, all
countries and all
those
that.
countries in Asia. And so I think that for them probably the Z group they probably thought that Korea once again thought, okay, let's give these people their chance so that they don't try to barge into K-pop
Right.
auditions
Right.
and try and change it.
Right.
But like I personally, yeah.
there is this group. I'm trying to look for the name on Google. I can't find it, but there's this group that tried to debut a few years ago. They, unlike Z Girls, said they are a Korean group, K-pop group, but they were all from America. None of them were Asian. One black, one white, one mixed race guy was probably maybe half white and maybe Hispanic or something. And they moved to Korea, and they were under a Korean label, and they wanted to debut as a Korean group. And what was even more interesting is that these people were over the age of 24.
The thing is, like, I don't understand how can you want to debut as a Korean group if
Right.
you're not Korean. Like, there's not even one Korean in that group. Like, once again, it comes back to K-pop and Korean culture. Like, you can't come there and want to change things to your liking, because then they might as well say, like, we are a group from America and we just under a South Korean label. Like, you can't want to put your own labels and say that no, I'm a K-pop.
Right, right. I think they are called EXP edition, basically. Yeah, EXP edition. And
Yeah, I don't think that
they didn't work out, by the way. I think the last time we saw them was maybe beginning of 2018, and that was it.
yeah. So
And
obviously-
their singing was quite terrible, in my opinion. It was not to the standard of K-pop idols. They couldn't even dance properly either.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's good to dream and it's good to have.
but you must be realistic.
Yeah. These people, K-pop, you start off at a young age. You can debut as a K-pop idol at the age of 13. You are 24, going on 25. You are almost 5 more years, and you're gonna go into the military. You can't be 24 years old and
You might as well then go to America, and like, I'm sure
Right.
you would have gotten further.
Susan Boyle from, I think, somewhere in England, Great Britain.
yeah.
She, okay, not to age shame her, whatever the case may be, but she was, I think, in her late 50s.
Yeah.
She was in her late 50s, and she won Britain's Got Talent, I think, and she released an album. In the Western world, that is okay. They don't care how you look. As a matter of fact, they support if you look different.
Yeah.
EXP edition, on the other hand, whoa.
I think in the Western world, like, there's a plus size now, especially now.
Lizzo as a
Like
example.
Lizzo, yeah. Plus size is definitely becoming more acceptable, but like in Asia, it's going to
You are gonna just be making a fool out of yourself. Sorry to say, but that's basically what you're gonna be doing if you're gonna be Lizzo's weight and think you're gonna be able to
Gonna
debut
debut.
in K-pop.
people are gonna be sit
People will
down.
laugh at you.
People are gonna tell you sit down.
Yeah,
And so once again stems back to the K-pop community. To them it's not body shaming.
to
To
them
them,
it's like
it's-
you need to
it's-
follow the rules.
You need to follow the rules. This is what it is. This is Korean culture. Like, don't come here if you think that you can't handle it.
Yeah,
Accept the fact that as fans we might be like, no, but you can't body shame my bias or my bias record, whatever the case may be. But like, they might be okay with it because that's how they grew up.
right.
That's how their parents even started off for them body shaming them with their eyes, their body, whatever the case may be. So they used to it already.
Yeah,
So for us, it might come as a shock, being from different countries where we don't understand. We never are being told like you a little bit this, a little bit overweight or something like
Yeah.
that. Coming back to that, you can clearly see that we might like be like, no, don't do that. But like for them, it might be a constant thing, everyday thing, and so people don't even care at that point. That artist might even say like to himself, like if one of them said no, you need to lose weight, then they'll be like, yes, I did actually gain weight. And
Yeah.
so for them it's a natural thing, especially with Korean culture, and in K-pop, Korean culture being blasted up into K-pop.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, wow, okay. It's a very complex topic.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but basically, what we're trying to say, we're not trying to discourage you, but we're being realistic with you. Don't think you're gonna go to Korea and you're gonna be an overnight sensation. You might get a slight better chance of being an actress than a singer in Korea, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not saying you're gonna get accepted into. We're not saying jump now on a plane and go and do an audition for a movie. But we just say you might get a better chance at being that than being a singer. Any closing words?
Yeah, I think I've said it all, but like definitely with the body shaming thing, the artist definitely might yeah, might to us it might seem like they're body shaming the artist and they saying bad things about their weight and whatever the case may be. But like to them it's a natural thing. Like this is Korean culture, this is K-pop, this is what it is.
Yeah.
We might not understand that, and you might think, oh, but they're being so rude and whatever, but like this is what it is, this is how Korean people are, this is what it is, this is, I mean, that's my final words. That's
Yeah.
what I think.
Oh well, we've gone over time as usual, so I guess that we won't necessarily be having a part two of body shaming,
Yeah.
because I mean I think we've covered some of the stuff that we said we were gonna cover
Yeah.
in part two, but we've covered it in part one anyway, so it's no use now having to repeat the same thing in another podcast. Once again, Brittany, thank you for
Thank you so
joining us, and thank you guys for listening. If this is your first time listening, we do have podcast one, aka episode one. We do have episode two. Episode one was on racism, colorism, and discrimination. Episode two was on cultural appropriation, and this has been episode three on body shaming. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Yeah, and for those who wanted to be K-pop idols, we're not trying to break your heart, but we're being honest with you.
do some research definitely.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.